Hi, this is Mr. Baumgarten with a short video on how to connect your ESP32 to Thonny for the first time. So the ESP32 are the little programmable microcontrollers that we are going to be using in this unit. As you saw then, it's got a programmable little LED on it. It's also got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it's got two USB ports and a bunch of programmable pins on there. Right, so to program this for the very first time, we need to put MicroPython on the board before we can do anything else. To do this, I'm going to plug in, when it's facing in this orientation, I'm going to plug in on the cable on the right. Now, we only use this when we are first setting up MicroPython. When we are just doing our normal day-to-day programming, we can then switch to using the port on the left. The other thing that's important is that you are using the correct cable. Now you'll notice that these are USB-C, but if you're wanting to plug it into USB-C on your computer, there is a little important gotcha. Do not use a USB-C to USB-C cable. You might think that it's the easiest, most convenient approach, but at the time of recording this video, there are technical reasons why this will not work. What you want to use is a USB-C cable that ends in USB-A, and then use a little adapter to put it back to USB-C when you plug it into your computer. This combination does work. This combination with USB-C to C does not work at the time of recording the video. So with that important gotcha out of the way, let's switch into Thonny. So I have it connected with the correct cable, and as you saw, I have it connected using the pin on the right. Again, that is very important. This step will not work if you use the pin on the left. Down the bottom here of Thonny, all right, so I click on this, we can see that it's still remembering a previous connection on COM10, which is no longer valid, so I've got to reinstall MicroPython anyway. So ignore this. This is just for the very first time that you use it. Go to Configure Interpreter, install or update MicroPython. It will now see that, oh, I think I've got something on COM10. MicroPython, these boards are the S3. Now, I should also note, if you are programming one of the CYDs, these are just ESP32. They're not ESP32 S3. This board is ESP32 S3. So I select the S3 and I select the Espressive version, and then whatever the default is that comes up here, click install. All right, this process is going to take a couple of minutes. Just be patient, let it do its thing. All right, so that has now finished copying across. When it says done, I can close. If you get an error here at this point, then you need to speak to your teacher for support. So I click OK. Let's put on a test program and get it to work. Now, the next step I'm going to do is I go back to my USB-C connection, and I am now going to switch from the port on the right to the port on the left. And this is the port that I will normally use lesson by lesson for programming the ESP32. You only ever need the one on the right when you are reinstalling MicroPython. So now, from now on, just use the one on the left. Let's go back to Thonny. And I come to my menu down the bottom. I click on that, and it says, oh, I have a MicroPython on an ESP32. So I can click that, and then I get this menu pop up. All right, this is the files on my laptop, and then down the bottom, the files on my board. If you do not see this files menu, you go up to View and Files, and you should be able to see your MicroPython device. So let's put in a little test program that will make the onboard NeoPixel blink. This is going to be from machine, import pin. Note the uppercase P on pin. Import NeoPixel, which is what we call these little multicolor LEDs. And we import the time library. I now tell MicroPython where to find my pixel. So I create a variable, NeoPixel, capital N, capital P on pin. And this is on pin number 48. And there is one LED that's attached. Then I'm going to make a loop that just runs forever. So while true, pixel 0, so the very first pixel in computers, in programming languages, we often start counting from 0. And I'm going to set it to the color 25500, which is red. And then tell it to write that update to the pixel. And that is the step that will actually make it turn red. And then we'll use the time library to go to sleep for 1/3 of a second. Then let's come back and set a second, different color. Right, 00255 is blue. So it's going to be flashing between red and blue, kind of like the police lights, I guess. Pixel.write, time.sleep, 0.3. I'll just move this down a bit so that you can see the entire thing. All right, and now I'm going to save it to my MicroPython device. And if I call it main.py, then that is what will be run automatically when I power up the board and it's not connected to my computer. So I can click save and we can see that main.py is there. And now if I click my run script button and I switch my camera, you will see I have the LED flashing red and blue. Congratulations, your board is now up and running with MicroPython. You can now get started with your projects. This is Mr. Baumgarten signing off.